Hi everyone, welcome back to our series of explaining Unreal Engine 5 and going through basically how to understand blueprints to become an independent blueprint editor. So, in the previous episodes, we looked at inheritance, we looked at variables, functions, and in this episode, we're going to talk a bit more about variables in the sense of data-driven design. So, let's take a look at what we mean by this and how it can be applied to your game design. So, the concept of data-driven design is to use data to build what you need rather than relying on instance classes all the time. You want to avoid spawning just loads of things in when you don't need to. Okay, if you can do it via data, I strongly recommend doing it by data. Now, the problem with data is that data-driven design means it can only be read, it can't be changed. This is because it's hard coded into the game when it's packaged. So let's say, for example, we wanted to do an accessory design for our character, which can affect the things like damage and all that stuff. And we've got character base and we've got all that stuff going on here too. Now, on character base here, I may have a thing on here where I can have variables which contain the details of different accessories the player has. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So let's add a variable in here and call it accessory. Accessories. Now, the accessories need to be a type of variable which is referencing data of some kind. And you've got typically two methods of data-driven design. You've got data tables and you've got data assets. I personally prefer data assets because it's a little bit easier to manage, control, and manipulate, and has a lot more cool little features. But data tables are really useful, especially for having it all in one place and a bit more organized. So let's say, for example, I have a folder in here which is just my accessories, and in that I'm going to create a data asset. So I'm going to do primary data asset, and we're going to do DA accessory. Now, I've done videos on data assets before, so I won't go into too much. But in here, we can set what variables we want to be available on our data assets. So, for example, we'll have the name of the asset, text value. We'll have a value associated to it. Yeah, you might have thumbnails, things like that. Whatever you want, you just put onto here. Okay, so we'll do that and close that. And on here, we can now create a data asset itself. We go to miscellaneous. Oh, and choose data asset, and it'll ask you to choose which data asset template you want to use. We can use our DA accessory data asset, and we'll call this one like bronze necklace or whatever you want to call it. Okay, give them code numbers, whatever you like. You just put a name here, bronze necklace, whatever it may be. And let's say on here we have another one, and I usually just do the duplicate of this one. Silver necklace. Whatever. And what's important to note is that this is just data. It doesn't actually do anything. It's just there. Okay, it's just values hanging around. So because it's just data driven, it doesn't have to instantiate this data at all. It's just we can just call it up when we want to call it up. And these accessories here I can now store as these data assets. So I can do DA accessory, and we can make this a array, so a list, compile to a list. And over here, I can now add items to my array. I can choose one of my necklaces I've made here. Now, what's really cool about this is, again, thinking back to the last episode, is I want to make probably functions to help manage this one. So we'll have a function in here called add accessory. And we can go into here, add unique. And we'll just rename this one new accessory. And we'll have a return to say whether or not it was successful in doing so. A very simple setup there for add accessory. And that'll help us manage this variable. But then I can use this accessory array to calculate like total value. So let's say this is my damage reduction value. Let's go back here. I'm going to rename this one damage reduction. Okay, and we'll give it a default value of 0. So if I wanted to, I can now go through each of my accessories and calculate, well, how much damage reduction do I totally have? Well, for that, I can go to my variables and go into here. Well, I want to get accessory damage reduction. Okay, and that we're going to go through each of our accessories that we have. Get the damage reduction that each one has, and then add that to a local variable. And the reason why I'm using a local variable is because it's a running total. I'm just keeping track of how many I've got for each one. So, damage reduction. So, and I'll set that back to local damage value. Local variables get reset every time the function is called, so you don't have to worry about resetting it back at the start or anything like that. And then when it's done through each one like this, on completed here, I'm going to do a return node, which returns that local damage reduction as damage reduction. And because we're just getting values, not changing it, I want to make this a pure function. So now I've got this function, that I can use to calculate my damage. So on event base, any damage here, we can do damage, subtract into health, no problem. But then I can go into my player character, where I'm doing the damage reduction here. Rather than using it as a variable, I can just get accessory damage reduction and plug that in. Then that's going to look at the accessories that I have and apply damage reduction accordingly. So, for example, I can go into the accessory data. Bronze, we're going to do 0.02. And silver, being a bit better, we'll have 0.05. And we'll say on our first person character, on the class defaults in accessories, we can add those two necklaces. Okay, so data-wise, we're just getting that information across. We're not instantiating anything, we're not spawning any necklace on the actual character. We're just saying, hey, data-wise, you have these extra values too. And then this function is going to go through and get those values out. So now, if I were to play this and push 1, you get the damage reductions because I've got both of them equipped. Yeah. And that's the whole gist of this data-driven design is you're thinking about how you can store things as data more so than anything else. So when you think about equipment, inventory, items, buffs, debuffs, anything like that, it's best idea to try and focus on being data-driven as much as possible. The more you make it data-driven, the more flexibility you're going to have with it. As these are now simply just stored as variables and not stored as anything else. Don't have to spawn them in, don't do it like that. Totally free to use. Really good. Now, data-driven things like this can also be inherited as well. So we've got this DA accessory, but I can actually make children of this as well. So I'm going to Blueprint class, and I can do DA accessory, and choose my DA accessory, and we'll do DA necklace. Okay, and these two can actually be part of this. So I can go to silver necklace here, and actually let's change that. Whoop. Convert different data asset type, and we'll do necklace, and do this one as well. Necklace. Okay, so now these are DA necklaces. Now, because it is a child of that parent class, and that's a child of accessory, it still works exactly the same on the character. So if we go to character base, accessories wise, I can still add them like normal. But So rather than having all your accessories into one sort of bucket of an array, you could make them separate. So we'll have necklace, and that'd be set to be a DA necklace. Okay, and they still appear there. So you can still do stuff like that too. In this particular example, I wouldn't do that, but it's just a way of showing you that you can do stuff like that. So using data assets is a great way to store lots of information and make it transferable between different characters in a really easy to read manner. The point of data-driven design is you're taking a lot of the heavy lifting of instance spawning and things like that, and just keeping it straight up as data, as values. Now, remember, you can't change those values, but you can read from them. Now, in the next episode, we're going to go through some top tips and tricks to how to get started in manipulating and creating your own systems without having to rely on tutorials like mine or anyone else's. You can just go in and start making stuff. We're going to go into that next episode right now over on patreon.com/Ryan Laley. We can watch all my videos early from just $1 a month. Massive thanks to all our Patreon members and continued YouTube members as well. Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you all next time. Bye, everyone.